It's Friday. You're watching Puck Time with the Prez. I'm Lawrence Presman, co-founder of Wager Talk Media, owner of WagerTalk.com, SportsMemo.com, and the iconic, legendary, world-famous, oldest newsletter in the industry, TheGoldSheet.com. Dave Koken joining us, and Carmine Bianco. 5 NHL games on tap today. We're going to talk about them all. And a quick reminder to everyone, Dave Koken, myself, and Brian Leonard will be doing First Pitch today. It's our baseball show. We do it Monday to Friday all summer long. Today's show is a sneak peek how to bet the MLB preseason. Let's bring the boys in, Dave and Carm. Dave, how are you?
I'm fine. Anytime I win I will tell you I had a terrible beat last night, but at least it wasn't on the big play because the 5 was Pacific, and they managed to get there. But I got it. Louisiana Tech was my worst beat of the season on one of my other plays. Up 17 with less than 6 minutes to go in the game. Still up 9 with about a minute left. And they end up in overtime. The coaching in the last minute. These coaches, I mean, how many times do you have to blow a game when you're up 3 with less than 10 seconds to go and you don't foul and the other team hits a 3? I mean, foul the guy. It's not that difficult. It drives me crazy. Anyway, I lost that game, but okay overall with the Pacific result. That was very good. And the 5% going back over the last 5 months now are better than 71%. So that's pretty good.
Congratulations, brother. Carm, the opposite happened to you. Dave had the worst beat of the season, and you probably had the best win of the season.
It doesn't happen very often, but I think I split in NHL last night, but I was on my way to an 0-2 night until the Tampa Bay Lightning decided to play with no goalie. I think for all of the third period, there was 6 goals scored in the third period. When you go into the third period and it's a 1-0 game and you have over 6.5, you've pretty much ripped up that ticket. 6 goals in the third period to turn that into a winner. Hey, listen, we talk about when we get lucky. We talk about when we get unlucky, and that was a lucky one. There's no two ways about it.
If you had Nashville last night, then you really got lucky.
Yeah.
They scored. Well, they scored a tenth of a second left, and they got the game to overtime.
I had the over last night in that game. It was my only winner, and I mean, as lucky as if you had Nashville. But I got to stop and just say something to all our listeners, and I really appreciate all of you guys. You know, boys, and Kathy, shout out to Kathy Savage. That is a great freaking name. You know, I think I'm going to go to. I'm going to go to Lawrence Savage. Anyway,
she's Randy's daughter.
No, actually, you should change. Prez, you should change your name to Massive because you love that word. You use it. You use the word massive more than anybody on the planet.
Okay, well, it's my nickname.
You do.
Last name.
Lawrence Massive Presman. And look.
I like it.
Look at these pipes. Anyway, guys.
No, if he needs an alias, his last name should be Massive. His first name should be Your.
Okay.
Your Massive.
Okay. Can I talk now?
Jewish.
No.
Okay, so 2 weeks ago, I was on a 16-2 NHL run. 16-2. It doesn't get much better than that. And then a bunch of you guys went and purchased my NHL season, and I hit the skids. And I am literally on a 1-10 NHL run, and I'm saying that humbly. Carmine can attest to this. It is destroying me. I have not had sexual relations in like 5 days. I can't
Thanks for letting me know that. I appreciate that.
Thanks, info. Dave. I was literally telling you.
I cannot. If Viv is playing your picks, I can understand.
Yeah, dude, I can't function.
Well, okay, so I'm going to give you some advice here. You ever hear of a slump buster?
No, tell me. But I had one last night.
Well, okay. Well, there you go. I'm sure your slump buster is not the actual literal slump buster, which I'm not going to get into because it's very politically incorrect, and I'm just not going down that road. But
find a Trump supporter, tie them up.
No, it's got nothing to do with
find
Trump.
a Democrat, pull their nails out.
It has to do with the weight of your mate.
Okay, well, the weight of my mate is not very heavy. Anyway.
Right. See, so the slump buster term would involve females that are, okay?
Okay.
Did I phrase that delicately?
Yes, thank you. Yes. So now back to what I'm saying. I just want to, like, in all seriousness, like, I cannot handle these losing streaks. Like, Carm can tell you, I mean, I'm texting him last night. I'm despondent. And the thing is, I know it's going to happen. I mean, it happens in every sport every year. You're going to have these massive moments of nightmares. There's massive for you, Dave. I just want to apologize to everybody who bought my plays. I mean, I'm trying my best. We've had just the worst luck. I mean, 2 nights ago, we go 0-2. We could have gone 2-0. All we needed was a bloody empty net goal. When you're in a slump, you get no empty net goals. Last night, I went 0-12 with my teams on the power play. 0-12. And there's nothing you can do about it. But I will say this. Calgary over the total last night. It was 2-1 with 6 minutes to go in the game. It was 2-2. It was 3-2 with 43 seconds to go in the game. And it was 3-3 with 0.01 seconds on the clock. Dave has his slump buster, and it's based around a large female.
No, it's not my slump buster. I don't believe it.
Okay, but my slump buster is when I get a miracle win, and I got one last night. And I'm telling you guys, I'm going back on a run. I humbly apologize. I mean, I can't. Carm, jump in here. I mean, tell these people what a mess I am.
It's going to change. A couple things first. Dave, we have TSN here, which is the sports network here. That's our major one here. And they used to have a feature on, I don't think they have it on anymore. It used to be called the TSN Turning Point. Literally, I think that Nashville game going over the total is the Prez's TSN Turning Point, where sometimes your mentality changes, and a win will do that. Listen, I always and I always think that winning streaks are followed by losing streaks, and the reason being is a guy on Twitter who tells you he is by my plays I am 80%. It's you might be 80% short term, but it's unsustainable. When I had that, I've had insane soccer runs. I've had insane hockey runs, and I told people during like a 20-2 run in NHL, it's unsustainable. Don't expect me to go 20-2 in January or February. It's not going to happen, Dave. You know it. You're going to go through a slump where you lose 8 or 9 or 10 in a row, and it's because it averages out. It's variance catching up with you. We talk about that in poker. Variance catches up with you where, you know what I mean? If you're essentially supposed to be a 55% or 56% capper and you're hitting at 80, you're going to have a run where you're hitting at 30. It's got to even out. And Lawrence, this is your evening out stage. Unfortunately, it is your evening out stage.
I know, but Carm, it's killing me. Like, yes, it is just killing me. And what people need to realize is they buy these packages like at moments in time, whether, a week, a month. We do this 365. We're going to have really rough stretches and really good stretches. And some of the guys over at Wager Talk and Sports Memo are absolutely rolling right now. I mean, VR is killing it. Brian Leonard is killing it. Rob Vino at Sports Memo is just on fire. Bobby Liggs, Buster Sports. I mean, we've never been hotter ever. Just not me. But that changes tonight. I've got a 2-pack up, and I'm going 2-0, baby. Boys, let's get into it. I got a promo to give out. I'll do it after the first I'll do it after the first game, which is the New York Rangers on the road at plus 145. Playing a team that just owns their stadium. Philadelphia Flyers minus 165, a total of 6. And yesterday I told everybody the New York Rangers were the play. It's amazing. Back to my slump. Every game that I'm not releasing, I'm winning. Dave, I'm going to go to you first on this game. You know, look, I can't play against the Rangers right now. They're the hottest team in the league, give or take. And I can't play against Philadelphia at home. I like the over in this game. The number is 6. I think we're going to get there. What do you like?
Well, look, the Rangers have actually, you think maybe this is a spot to go against them because the Flyers have been really good at home. And the Rangers played last night. But the Rangers have good numbers playing with no rest. They're 7-3 this season, so they haven't been bothered by that. They're too hot to go against right now. I don't want the Flyers at this price anyway. I don't like the spot for the Rangers, particularly because the Flyers are so good at home. But, it's plus 140-ish.
Yeah.
Really not enough to get me interested in the Rangers. So I think I'm going to lay off this game. It's just not one I'm real enthused about.
Yeah, and I feel the same way, Carm, about the side. But, I'm looking at the total here. And, you go down, you look at the Flyers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 overs and 1 push on the over in their last 7 games. And the Rangers are scoring too. 1, 2, 3, 4 out of their last 5 games have gone over. That's the play for me. What do you like, Carm?
It's tough for me to go against the Flyers team as well as the Rangers are playing right now. It's tough for me to go against the Flyers team who are playing so well at home. You have to look at the thing that, in that division, in that metro, you now have Washington struggling, Pittsburgh struggling, and who's taking advantage of it? The Flyers. They've moved within 5 points of that division lead. They've got a game in hand on Washington. Pittsburgh played 1 game less. But if these teams continue to struggle, the Flyers just sneak right in there. They're playing well at home. They're essentially only the Boston Bruins have a better home record right now. The Bruins have gained 53 points at home in 34 games. The Flyers are at 48 points through 31 home games. So obviously 3 games in hand there. Good teams at home continue to win at home. It's tough. I don't want to lay $1.65. Definitely don't want to lay $1.65 because of the fact the way the Rangers are playing. I'm more than willing to lay the $1.25 and take the Rangers. Take the Flyers in regulation time here. To your point on the over, I'm not really sure. It's one of those things where when you get these teams within a conference playing each other, sometimes you get lower scoring games, especially now. The Rangers, having played last night, they'd love to collect a point here, send it to overtime. Maybe it plays as a tighter game, but if I have to play it, I'm going to take the Flyers here in regulation.
He's Carmine Bianco, Dave Koken with us. You're watching Puck Time with the Prez. Guys, massive promotion for all first-time buyers. From now on, every Friday, we're going to be doing a first-time buyers special. So if you've never purchased from Wager Talk or if you've never purchased from Sports Memo, this is the time. This promotion is only for Wager Talk. If you want the Sports Memo version of it, check out Drew Martin's podcast today. You can find it on our YouTube channel, Wager Talk TV. As you can see at the bottom of the screen, first-time buyers only. I get 3 days of anyone, Dave Koken, Carmine, me, Tony, Ralph, Marco, VR, Gianni. Get any of their plays for 3 days. Regular price $69. It's yours for $25. We sell 1 play for $25. You get 3 days of all access to any handicapper you want for only $25. Take advantage of this. The promo code is PZ25. For everyone who doesn't live in America, that's PZ25. Always found it fascinating, Carm. You're a Canadian, I'm a Canadian. I find it fascinating that the Americans changed the word Z to Z. It's like it's hard enough on the phone to hear when someone says E or G or D. Do they really need another rhyming letter? Nothing.
I'm not sure. I don't know why it's done.
Dave, do you know what is the origin of changing Z to Z?
I have no idea.
Why don't you change like S to Shmee? Like, how many frickin' letters do you need to rhyme with E and B and D and G and Z? I mean, you can't even hear someone on the phone. They're like, your code is EDGZ. I'm like, say that again? E for elephant, D. Okay, it's Z. But anyway, promo code PZ25. And yes, Carmine, everyone can see your face. Everyone knows you're rolling your eyes. We get it.
Listen.
You were listening.
Before I forget, do you know what today is?
Yeah, it's Friday.
It's
all right. I wanted to say present.
Red Card Day.
No. 10 years ago today, Jerome McGinley passed it to Sidney Crosby, who put it between Ryan Miller's legs for a 3-2 win as Canada beat the U.S. for the gold medal in the Olympics 10 years ago today.
Okay. So, what that has to do with anything, right. Nobody knows.
We're talking hockey.
But hey,
gold
I
medal.
just went off on a tangent
Crosby.
about the letter Z, so you're welcome. Dave, would you like to talk off topic for a second?
No,
speaking of,
because we got a baseball show to do, and we need to eventually get this show done. We've been on 20 minutes. We've done one game.
Okay.
Yeah, and speaking of letters, Colorado has a goalie in net tonight. That's the next game we're going to talk about.
So let me run the show. Columbus against Minnesota. -125 for Columbus. Over and under 5.5. Minnesota, unbelievable. 7 goals or something last night. Last I looked, it was 7-1. I took a flyer on Detroit, but I also took a flyer on Ottawa, so I made money. Columbus just mired in their season worst slump, and Minnesota playing outstanding hockey. With that said, I like Columbus tonight. Carm, I'll go to you first.
Yeah, these ones where two teams play back to back, and for Columbus that is a back to back. For Minnesota, it's not because of the game last night. It's one of those situations where you sometimes look for a split. Columbus looked terrible early against Minnesota in that last game, but they looked pretty good in that third period and almost squeaked it out and sent it to OT. Coming home, I like the fact again that it's Korpisalo back in net. You're going to see him in net for quite a while now. For me, it's it's one of those things where you tend to see the splits. We saw it with Washington and Winnipeg. Washington somewhat dominated at home. Went to Winnipeg last night and lost 2-0 or 3. I think it was 3-0 was final score with an empty netter.
3-0.
We saw it in the Pittsburgh Toronto where they played back to back, and Pittsburgh dominated at home, and then went to Toronto and completely, for lack of a better word, shit the bed. So it's one of those things that we see. I think we probably see it tonight. I'm kind of leaning to Columbus here. I think they get the win tonight at a very short price. You only have to lay, what is it, $1.25, I think, with the Blue Jackets. So it's Columbus for me.
Mr. Koken, sir, what do you like in this game?
Well, I like Korpisalo back in goal. I think that's a lift for the team. He's an all-star. He didn't get to play in the all-star game because he got hurt, but he was having a great season. I think the spot does favor Columbus, and they desperately need the game. The problem is must win doesn't always mean will win, and they're just not winning any games right now. And as I've mentioned about 100 times, the Seth Jones injury was enormous for that team. It changed the whole makeup of the team. He's their most valuable player. I think Columbus is the right side, but I don't think I'm going to be able to back it with a bet.
He's Dave Koken. He's going to be on the baseball show today. Check it out. First pitch. Him, Brian Leonard, and myself, we're talking about how to bet the preseason. Boys, Colorado against Carolina. Carolina -110. So same with Colorado. It's a pick'em game, over and under 6. And, Dave, I'll go to you first on this game, but my take on this is Saturday night against the Leafs was a turning point moment for Carolina. I think they realized that if they worked their tuchuses off, they could beat any team in the league. I expected them to lose the next game because of the emotional magnitude of the game on Saturday night. And then I suggested that they would go on a run, and their run starts tonight. I know they're playing a really good Colorado team that just really keeps their opponents off the scoreboard. But I like Carolina here tonight. Short price at home, chasing a wild card spot. That's where I'm going. What do you like, Dave?
Well, the problem for me is that Anton Forsberg's going to be in goal for Carolina. They got goalie problems right now with the first two guys hurt. And Anton Forsberg is a former NHL starter with the Blackhawks. That was a few years ago. He spent the last 3 years basically in the AHL. He's had a decent year at Charlotte. Okay numbers. 2.95 goals against, 905 save percentage. He wasn't bad last year with Rockford. But, I mean, he's not been able to get the job done in terms of his performances at the NHL level. And so I've got to take a wait and see on this. I think Carolina's going to come out flying tonight, and they might catch the Avalanche in the right spot here. But, man, that's risky business when you've got a goaltender you don't have any faith in.
Yeah. Yeah, they've been down that path. They had a Zamboni in net and still was able to win and scored 3 goals with that Zamboni in net. Carmine, you look at Colorado, they've won their last 4, but they're not impressive right now. They're having, good for them that they could have a slump and win all their games in the middle of it.
It's one of those things, Prez, that, sometimes a team that is slumping, you look at the schedule and it's a favorable schedule.
3-2 against Buffalo, they won. Beat the Kings in a shootout. 1-0 against Anaheim. I mean, they're struggling, and yet it's all W's.
Well, that's just it. Those 4 games, and I don't want to downplay them. Wins are wins. You can only play the teams they put in front of you, but they're playing teams with not a lot of scoring through the lineup. The Kings don't have it. The Ducks don't have it. The Sabres don't have it. And the Islanders on that road trip, literally, I think we mentioned they scored 2 goals in over 4 games on that trip. So they weren't really scoring. You only beat the teams that they put in front of you. I've been sort of beating myself on this game as far as the total, because I do like the over 6 in this spot, and it's tough because the Avalanche have gone under the total in 10 of their last 11 games. With the only game being a 4-3 loss to the Tampa Bay Lightning. But again, as Dave mentioned, it's Anton Forsberg in net. His numbers aren't that great. His first go-around in the NHL at 11-24 with a couple draws, not that great. And over 3 goals against average. I think it's 3.23 or something like that. It's one of those things. But they're also playing... Colorado is also playing a Carolina team, as Dave said, that I think is going to bring it tonight, and that can score goals. They have some scoring in that lineup, so we could see a high-scoring game here. So it's one of the reasons why I'm leaning to the over 6. The interesting thing about Anton Forsberg is he was traded from Columbus to Chicago along with Brandon Saad for Artemi Panarin. So I think that's a trade that worked out great for Chicago at the time. Or for Columbus at the time to get Panarin, who obviously now playing for the Rangers, but they got a lot out of him. As far as this game goes, I'm not taking a side. If I did, I'd lean to Carolina here, but I'm leaning to the total as my play for the show.
Guys, just remember, first-time buyers only. 3 days of anyone's plays, all access, every play they release Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Head over to wagertalk.com. Use the promo code PZ25. That's PZ25. Buffalo's won 5 of their last 7 games. They lost a close one to Colorado at that. But, man, they've got it tough tonight. They're going into Vegas, and Vegas is lights out. 7 in a row, and beating, good teams along the way. I mean, they beat Washington, they beat Tampa Bay, they beat Florida. They absolutely dominated Edmonton, held them to 0 goals. They're playing great offensively and defensively. I can't get in their way, but I'm not taking minus 300. I don't even think the regulation price is good enough. But I do like over the total. Carm, I'll go to you first. What do you like in this game?
Yeah, for me, it's the price is obviously terrible, and even the three-way line price is terrible on Vegas. But in sports and in picking games, you can find a narrative that fits what you want to say, or your points at the end of the day. And I can find a narrative as far as looking at the Sabres' 5 wins over those 7 games, and literally tell you that they're not as good as those 5 wins.
Nobody thinks they are.
No, it's just they beat the Red Wings. Okay, they beat a Columbus team that was in an 8-game losing streak. They beat a Leafs team that were struggling to find any type of consistency. Then they get blown out by Ottawa. They beat a Pittsburgh team that have now lost 4 or 5 straight. Beat a Winnipeg team that are struggling, and then they lose to a Colorado team that's winning. You can find a narrative that makes anything fit. They're going to play a Vegas team that, as Dave Koken would like to say, and hopefully agrees, are playing 200-foot hockey. They're playing end-to-end right now. They are just not giving you anything, and they're winning. They're not just winning their games; they're dominating those games, regardless of whether the final score shows it or not. I really love the way this Vegas team is playing, and I just can't see how they lay a flat spot here against Buffalo. I just don't see it. This is one of those ones where, if you want to lay the puck and a half, you can. I'm more likely to lay 2.5 goals here as just kind of a prop bet with Vegas and take the plus 145. This is just one of those prop bets I love to put out. I think they beat the Sabres, and I think they beat them handily. My thought, anyways.
Dave Koken, regale us, my brother.
Well, look, I would expect Robin Leonard makes his debut tonight for the Golden Knights.
He's pissed off.
At the Blackhawks. He's not pissed off at the Golden Knights.
At the Blackhawks, yeah, he's pissed.
Well, he shouldn't be pissed. He's going to do very well as a free agent, whether he stays with Las Vegas or goes someplace else. A good opponent for him to go against. Carter Hutton has actually played well lately for Buffalo, except for one game. The Ottawa game was a complete disaster. He had an awful game. But he actually bounced back from that with a good performance against the Penguins, and he was okay. They lost to Colorado, but it really wasn't his fault. So he's playing pretty well. But, I mean, this Golden Knights offense right now is sizzling. And everybody, what's going on with Alec Martinez? He's got 6 points. This is not a scoring defenseman. He's got 6 points since he joined the Golden Knights. Nick Cousins immediately contributes in his first game, a wild stat this year. The Golden Knights have had 6 players score in their Golden Knights debut this season, which is kind of amazing. So they don't have anybody debuting tonight, but they're going to get goals against Buffalo and should win the game comfortably.
He's Dave Koken, a legend in the sport. Make sure to check him out on First Pitch today, Wager Talk TV. Him, Brian, and myself talk betting the preseason in baseball. And also, guys, use that promo code. First-time buyers only, PZ25. $44 off of a 3-day all-access pass. Last game on the board, boys. The Pittsburgh Penguins, losers of 4 in a row, against the Anaheim Ducks, losers of 4 of their last 5. We tried the Flying V on Tuesday night. I don't know if you guys remember the Flying V, but I talked my team into trying it. We were down 8-4. We're like, let's do the V. Yeah, I got like slapped upside my head for even mentioning that damn stupid play. I can't play Pittsburgh here at minus 190. I think Anaheim is live, but I'm worried. I'm going to take a small flyer on Anaheim, Dave.
Yeah, I can't play the Penguins. They're just slumping right now. And on paper, they're supposed to beat the Ducks, who really don't
They
have
were
a lot
supposed
at
to
this
beat
point.
the Kings.
Yeah, that's right. And they didn't play well in that game. I mean, you can say, well, it was a fluke. But the Kings have some guys that have been called up, seeing their first NHL duty, and they're pretty excited to be out there. So the team's playing with enthusiasm. And the same thing can be said for the Ducks. They've called up some guys who might not be great players, but, boy, they're playing hard. I think Pittsburgh wins, but there's no chance I'm laying close to $2 to find out.
Mr. Bianco.
Yeah, it's for me. This is a complete pass here. I said I was surprised they lost the Kings. I think I said before that game, if you want to get out of a streak or something that ails you, look for the Detroit Red Wings or the Los Angeles Kings. But the Kings do play well at home, and they do tend to play well to the under as well at home as well too. But I didn't expect them to lose 2-1. Same thing for the Ducks here. They're not playing well. They're 3-7 in their last 10. But I just don't want to touch this game. How can you lay $1.92? Even if Pittsburgh's a better team, you can't.
No, here's the thing.
Suicide.
The thing is that if you want to play against the Ducks, to me, the spots to play against them are the shorter priced games where they're playing somebody they might not be excited to play. They're going to be fired up to play the Penguins. I mean, Sidney Crosby and Malkin are coming to town. Anaheim's going to be fired up tonight. Might not be enough for them to win because they're not very good, but they get a good effort out of the Ducks tonight.
Great point. Well, I'm taking a flyer on them. Boys, that's the show. Real pleasure doing this with both of you. Monday, we'll be back with Puck Time. If you want to hear more hockey, check out Drew Martin and Andrew McGinnis later today. And also make sure to use that promo code PZ25, $25 all access for 3 days. Any handicapper you want, only for first-time buyers. He's Carmine, the other guy's Dave, and I'm the Prez. We'll see you Monday.
Good luck, boys.